Hello and welcome once again to another video from Universal Harmony Illustrated. Let's talk about what we embody. Your personal beliefs and convictions are the foundation of your life. Exercising control over these things leads to a happy and harmonious life. And it leads to all healing. While not exercising control over these things leads to a chaotic and seemingly uncontrolled life, and the need for something to be healed. At the end here, I think in a follow-up video, I'm going to tell you my own related story that I hope will give you some inspiration. It's not really an amazing story. It's just a record of how I have applied these concepts and how they have worked for me, and I think you'll be able to more easily relate to what I'm saying when I share these experiences. We control our own life physically, and we do this both outside of ourselves in our life and within our own body by watching, guarding, and controlling what and how we constantly think. And that's what life is. We're constantly thinking. If we've been ill, or felt out of sorts, or suffered an accident, whatever needs to be addressed, regardless of what healing technique we might choose to use to return ourselves to a condition of balance and health, in the end, the fact is that it's thought, and thought alone, that heals us, or that doesn't heal us, depending on what thought we choose to entertain. For some people, that's a kind of a radical idea, but I've found that it's the truth. For some people, it's a hidden truth. Healing results from seriously watching and seriously controlling our thought. Physical change happens in our life and circumstances and in our own bodies whenever we change and direct our deepest thoughts and beliefs, our deepest convictions. And this happens because our life, including the matter that it seems to be made of, is literally our own conscious witnessing of our own thought. Human life's manifestation as matter is the witnessing of human thought. And even if we already know that, too often we go on pretending like it's not important. In a sense of ignorance, lethargy, not caring, these are things we need to sweep away in order to get life under our own control, to get life under our own complete control. This is possible. Consider this about body. Our life includes all of the thought that we embody. And that's a descriptive word, embody, because embodiment is represented to us as human beings by a human body. We are what we mentally embody. It's been said, we are what we think. Our formative and creative thoughts are our deepest beliefs and convictions, and our life embodies them. Like the word says, it turns them into body. We entertain our deepest beliefs and convictions, which we choose, in our subconscious thought, which in turn converts them into our physical life. And that is embodiment. This is the subtle, invisible connection. We don't realize that our deepest thoughts are the substance of what makes our unfolding life take form. We embody our convictions. So we need to pay close attention to what we believe and what we're convinced of. So you might ask yourself, are my beliefs reasonable? Are they logical? Are they desirable? Are they dogmatic? Are they based in fear? Are they based in love? Where do they come from? Why do I believe them? And then ask yourself, do you want whatever it is that you believe? And if you don't, then you really need to examine what you believe and find out why you believe it, and then learn to disbelieve anything that you don't want. We live our most subtle expectations, literally. If we're fearful and believe in destructive powers and influences, then embodiment naturally brings the manifestation of just that. Destructive conditions and events that appear in our life, sometimes in our bodies. Likewise, on the other hand, a knowing conviction that all is well, whether all seems to be well or not, ultimately must bring the manifestation of a peaceful, healthy, harmonious life. But the human fact is that human beings tend to live their lives paying absolutely no attention to what they believe in or why. Life's taken at face value. While the spiritual fact is that our thought is actually the very foundation of every appearance in our life. Like a building rests on its foundation, our life rests on the foundation of our thought. Knowing this is powerful. Knowing this is the actual basis of all healing. Because when we control our thought, we control every aspect of our manifested life. Mental healing treatment is just the purposeful control of our deepest convictions. And it involves knowing as truth, with a capital T, knowing what we most want and need. That's conviction. Now, we all have our own relative foundation of beliefs and convictions that silently form our human life. And it literally also builds and forms our bodies. we can use all these facts to help ourselves. It might come slow, but when we grasp the power of how to do that, we can begin to experience things that once seemed impossible. Everything will begin to feel possible. We each can learn how to get into our subconscious mental realm, identify beliefs and convictions that are doing us no good, dispose of them, and replace them with better convictions. Thoughts of truth with a capital T that actually lead us to better places, to better lives, and actually lead to manifesting better bodies and embodying better health. All of the thought we think is a cause. And the effect of that cause is the world we live in. And it is what we embody. So in fact, it is our body. So let's address claiming the necessary control. Because control of your bodily condition results from claiming and taking control of your own thought. And this is the point that the world currently misses too much of the time. Because due to human education, the world doesn't want to admit this truth. The world teaches us to think objectively that experience is happening to us. So why should we believe this about taking control? Well, a better question should be, why shouldn't we believe it? If you never believed it before, and if you never found a solution to your problems thinking the old way, do you have something to lose by believing something new? As human beings, we're typically taught that we're just floating along in a life that's happening to us. And that's false. That's the human education that teaches us to think that we're out of control. We can claim our own control. We aren't just the passengers on the plane. We are its pilot. Know that the control of thought is yours now. Be convinced of the truth that you're never a victim of thought, because first of all, you are thought's creator, so you're not a victim of yourself. And secondly, you yourself choose, whether you know it or not, the thoughts that you entertain. The problem is that we don't realize or know that. And we spend 95% of our time on subconscious autopilot. That's the way human life operates. So what we most need is to purposefully spend more time being conscious of our own thought and where it's leading us to. Take advantage of that 5%. We have the power to consciously alter the subconscious programming that we're running on in our mind, the subconscious programming that operates and guides and forms our life minute by minute. We decide what we're going to think, what we want to believe, and we decide every element of what we're going to accept or not accept as our reality. Wherever we are now, whatever our condition is, we are where we are now as the result of all that we have accepted as ours. So radical as it may sound, the truth is that we can say no to anything we don't want in our reality and dismiss it. And we can say yes to what we most need and do want in our reality. And we can make it ours. Do you believe this right now? Maybe you don't. Do you want to believe this? You can. If you want to get full control of your life, you not only have to believe this, you also have to know this one step beyond believing. It's conviction. To get control, we need to be totally convinced. And we can't just half-heartedly tell ourselves we've got a handle on our thought when all we're really doing is just thinking about controlling our thought. And that's the most common reason that this whole idea of the potential of self-government is seen by so many as a lot of hogwash. It's because people stop at wishful hoping. While they're wishfully hoping, they think they're practicing conviction, but they're really still far, far away from being convinced. It's like when you see the city on the horizon that you're heading to, you're still miles away, but because you see the city, you make the declaration that you've arrived when you haven't. If you can grasp what it means, if you can become totally convinced through using spiritual logic that harmony is the fact, if you can stop wishing and hoping and replace that with knowing, then you're touching on knowing a powerful connection with the unbounded nature of the universal divine consciousness. The one consciousness which you and I and everyone reflect in our deepest sense of identity. And knowing this unlimited power, knowing our deepest sense of identity as the reflection of this universal divine consciousness, puts us in the captain's chair of the ship of our body and the ship of our life. With it, you can ultimately learn to move mountains. Jesus was not exaggerating when he said this: "Whosoever shall say unto this mountain, Be thou removed, and be thou cast into the sea, and shall not doubt in his heart, but shall believe that those things which he saith shall come to pass, he shall have whatsoever he saith." What Jesus understood is that life literally is your thoughts, exemplified, manifested, embodied. We are what make the world unfold, so we can stop just going along for the ride. Of course, from the perspective of being a human being, that's easier said than done. We can agree on that. But at the risk of sounding extreme, really our objective is to get above being a human being. The potential is always there for you and me, and for everybody, to totally controlled life experience. And as a result of that, be part of guiding the world in a new and positive direction. In a follow-up video, I'm going to share my most significant related personal experiences, and I believe I'm going to add some detail with some more detailed testimonies of healing things on a more specific basis. But first, I want to talk in a follow-up video about how I made for myself these ideas practical over a period of years, and how, as a result, the opportunities to keep applying them to making life better just keep on growing in unexpected new ways as more years pass by. So basically, my story is about how, after a very positive spiritual upbringing, I had a series of negative experiences years ago. And I know now, and I feel that I have and can change and continue to reform my life for the better by claiming more control of my own thought, and thus claiming control of myself and my life. So I hope you join me in sharing that, and I thank you for listening this time. See you next time.